Our next keynote speaker is Laurie Boschini, Senior Architect at Mimecast. Curiosity and a love for problem solving got her interested in engineering. She was one of the handful women in computer science, but she enjoyed the challenges and stayed the course. Continuing to be involved in a technical capacity means that she still gets to enjoy the satisfaction of all problem solving and when the problem is solved well. She stays in the engineering because every day there are new challenges and technology is changing so fast, there is always something to learn. We are happy to welcome you on stage, Laurie, today and to learn more about the value of a good question. Hi and welcome.
Thank you very much for such a lovely introduction. There's no need to introduce myself now.
Our absolute pleasure to have you with us, and to everyone who's listening or joining us today right now. Have your questions ready, and I'll be back at the end of your talk, Laurie, to take them. The stage is yours.
All right. So when I was asked to participate in today's event, I found myself trying to come up with a fantastic, inspiring idea. I saw all the headings for the existing presentations that were already scheduled, and I felt myself a little bit intimidated, to say the least. We've got some really good speakers and some good presentations today. And while I was going around in circles trying to figure out what I was going to say, I realized that maybe a simple story could provide inspiration. And I decided to answer a question I often get asked, which is, how do you get to where you are today? So once I started thinking about it, I discovered that the real answer seemed to be asking questions. So I'm going to take you through the same questions I asked myself in order to tell my story. Sorry, I'm not as used to presenting as some of these ladies. Okay, so where did I start? 30 years ago. Couldn't believe it when I realized that. It doesn't seem that long. But I was trying to decide between computer science and psychology. I was a bit of an indifferent high school student, and my parents felt we should focus on the sciences, which I did, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was a bit young, so I was granted a gap year. I didn't get to go traveling like some people do. I was expected to work, pay my way a little bit, while I figured out what I wanted to do. And during that time, I found that I had actually been fascinated for a long time with the way people think and what they do. So psychology seemed like a good option, but I wasn't completely sold on it. And then I happened to read a book which contained a description of something that they called systems analysis for business. It was very high level, and I couldn't imagine how that would look as a career. But the problem solving aspect is what attracted me. So I took a leap and decided to end up majoring in computer science and took a minor in cognitive psychology just to keep that interest alive. And found myself in a world dominated by men, coming out of an all-girls school. That was quite a bit of a shock for me. And I was also extremely shy. Still a little bit shy today, but challenging myself every day and trying new things. But one of the things I did wrong back then was being afraid of looking silly and asking a bad question. That made things harder for myself. Even though I enjoy a good challenge, I was putting obstacles in my own way. And I realized much later in life, there's no such thing as a bad question. I would have helped myself and maybe others if I'd felt okay asking questions back then. I should probably say that I'm going to take questions. If people are wanting to ask questions, I'm happy to try to answer them as they come in. But otherwise, I'll just keep on going through to the end. So once I got out of university and I started my career, what did I learn during that time about my career? I realized not everyone has a distinct career goal and their life mapped out. My teenage self, for one thing, would never have imagined where I am today. I don't think any of us back then could have imagined the world today. Elena was just talking about the pandemic world. The world we lived in then could not have coped with a pandemic in the way that we have today. So imagining that far ahead, I don't think anybody really can. Somehow we all expect ourselves to be able to answer that question and know where we're going. Some people are lucky and they have that, but not everybody does. And it's okay not to have an answer, I think. So the only way that I really ended up progressing was by just making decisions based on how they felt at the time. Posed with a question, posed with an opportunity. How did I feel about making the right decision? So there really is no recipe for navigating. Oh, you know what? I forgot to progress my slides. Sorry. There we go. Here's my takeaways. I'm on takeaway 2. There is no recipe for navigating the world of technology. I get asked periodically if I would mentor young women in the industry, especially since I've been in it for a while now. And there's some idea that being senior female, I must know how to help younger girls come up through the industry. And I find that concept quite difficult because I feel that I had to ignore and put up with things that women today don't accept. And it's hard for me sometimes to even put aside my own idea of things that I've accepted or shouldn't have to accept these days, and actually push back or ask questions and say, I'm not happy with something. And I'd still want to be able to help the younger generation. I think I still got some good advice. I just have to be able to put aside some of the things that I've learned that are bad. So yeah, no two people have the same path to follow. We all have to make our own choices. And one of the best parts about the technology industry is the variety, the pace of change. It makes it interesting, it makes it exciting, but it also makes it difficult to find common ground. So I might be able to talk to somebody in my industry that I'm working with today, specifically because I can help them with something now and how to cope with something now. But how to help somebody who's trying to get where I am today, get there, is quite difficult because the things that they're going to experience are very different to what I've experienced to get here today. Another thing that really helps is that attitudes are changing. It's making it easier to navigate any career, not just technology, I think. There's a lot of movements out there promoting women in engineering, women in pretty much every career out there. Gender disparity is being addressed. And I think we're all seeing benefits of that. At least I think we are. I am. So maybe I'm not seeing, I know there's still a long way to go, but I think things have changed a lot in my time, and I hope they keep changing and escalating. So the main thing that I have to offer here is do something you enjoy, be confident in yourself, and keep learning. If I have one piece of advice, it's this: we only have one life, and we spend a large amount of it working, so it better be good. Stay curious and keep asking questions. So, how did I make my decisions as I went through my career? Obviously, I'm not at the same company I was 27 years ago whenever I graduated. I've been through a few companies. I've gone through within the US, multiple states. I'm now living in the UK. So clearly, I've moved around a lot over the time. And how did I do that? Again, at this point, it was more about asking myself questions, less about asking other people questions. Sorry, went a little blank there for a second. First thing is knowing when it's time to move on. You know, you need to ask yourself, are you happy? Are you doing something that keeps your attention? Do you feel valued? If you answer no to any of these things, is there something you can change? Can you ask of your company, is there something they can change that would make it better or easier for you? Changing jobs is stressful, so it is worth trying to make a change within the job you're in. But if that doesn't work, it's definitely time to move on. Once you've made that decision to move on, presented with opportunities, again, you kind of have to be asking yourself the right questions. Why does it look good? What are the pros and cons? There's often a lot of pros initially. There's going to be things that attract you to a company, things that look shiny and potentially very good. HR teams are getting very good at marketing these days. But you need to also ask yourself what the cons are, because they will be there. And if you haven't spotted them, you need to actually probably ask more questions of the company you're interviewing with. Connecting, networking, yes, that is a good way. Exactly. If you know somebody within a company, you can ask more questions. Connect with somebody and ask them how they feel about working there, or even just reaching out to other people who do work there. Try to find out as much as you can about places that you're considering and the role you're considering, to make sure that you have all the answers you need to make the right decision. And in the end, the bottom line is, does it feel right? We all have to trust our instincts a little more, I think. So, listen to yourself. All right. So, oops. Sorry, I have a little issues changing slides here. Did I do that too fast? Yes. Where am I today? After you get to, I've been around the block a time or two, and I've made it to Mimecast. I'm one of a team of architects, and I've been approached actually twice over the years by Mimecast, but it took me a little time to have the same confidence in myself that they had in me. I'd been working as a consultant, providing services to numerous companies in various industries, specifically around search, which is I'd say it's been the bulk of my career working with search. And I felt very confident in my area of expertise, but I didn't realize how much value I'd gained working with so many industries, because what I did interacted with so many other areas. And Mimecast saw that potential and finally persuaded me to come and join them. And I have never been more confident or felt more valued than I do with Mimecast. So working in a company where they value you and let you know that you're valued is priceless. It makes me feel successful. I don't need to be an owner of my own company. I don't need to be a rising star anywhere. I just need to be happy, and I feel happy. So I think, I feel like I've done well getting where I am today. I'm still challenging myself. I'm still pushing the boundaries. Today's a good example, actually. I'm not very comfortable presenting. sitting here twisting my fingers around and feeling quite awkward. Probably shows a little bit, but I took the opportunity because it was presented to me, and taking opportunities when they're presented is a way of growing for yourself. I did take a sort of a deep breath and go, can I do this? Yes, I can. And so here I am, stepping into new levels of responsibility, working with a wider range of teams at one time than I ever have. It's scary, it's exciting. So yeah, 30 years down the road and I'm still learning new things, doing things I never thought I'd do. It's brilliant. And Mimecast says that they want us to be able to do our best work, our best teamwork, and our greatest learning. I think that's a quote from the CEO, actually, I think. And every company should strive for the same. I think I really feel that. And they do make a significant effort to give us that. So to conclude, the value in a good question is in its answer. Keep asking questions. There are no bad questions and many valuable answers if you are listening. Never stop being curious. And I think that's it. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take any questions.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi.
I'm back again, just kind of putting myself back. Life was a little bit challenging, but since you told us that we need to do something challenging, so I really love that. I also love that, despite being, sometimes you've been saying, okay, here's the slide, move here. I think you have just such an authentic talk that you speak from your experience, from your heart. It touched me deeply, and like you said something like about your that you didn't have a possibility to travel the world when you started your journey, and then you started the computer science world that you discovered, which was very male dominated, and how you felt. I think it's by sharing such stories we inspire and empower so many women out there to stay the course just like you did, and to find the job where you feel that you thrive, the team where you feel you really can connect with, that you can trust them, that you can build some great things. I think that is so important for every person who's joining us today and for everyone who will be listening to us later. And I really like the point that you stated, that asking questions other people, but also asking questions yourself. Like, I really like how you structured in your presentation, where I am now. So what is next? So like, who am I? Like, asking these questions from time to time is so important, because we can find such an unexpected answer to them that would really change the direction of our life and our career as a result.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody else for all your lovely comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you already discovered. I see that you're an example for aspiring leaders. Amazing, Laurie. Well done for pushing yourself outside your comfort zone today. So you did something great today. I think the more times you speak at different events, both women tech related, sharing your stories, or other events which are technical, since you have a technical role in a company, I think the more women will get inspired by you. You do have that potential. And I see that there are many questions that we have from the audience. Well, actually, one is not a question, one is a request. Can you please be my mentor? So you already have a request from a potential mentee, which is really good.
I'm willing to give it a go.
So you never know where you can find your mentor or mentee. And there is also, just a second. So it is true that there is no silly questions, but asking question is a capacity that can be improved. What do you think we can do to work on this capacity and push our limits?
Present yourself the question first, I think. How does it? I don't know. I think if you sound the question out for yourself first, Sometimes it just helps to word things for yourself before you can even answer your own questions, sometimes like that. But yeah, I've actually been done that a few times in a conversation, in a meeting. I've sat there going, can I ask this question? Does it sound reasonable? And then I really just have to ask the question because I realize that nobody else is asking it. Somebody has
Just
to
do
ask
it.
it, and
Just put a
just do
question
it.
out
Just
there.
do it.
Just
Exactly.
do it. Okay,
Just
great.
do it.
That's a really helpful answer. Thank you so much, Laurie. It was a pleasure to have you with us today. Stay with us for the rest of the conference. I'm sure more people will want to connect with you. Maybe even they will want you to be their mentor. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation and for your story, for sharing it with us today. That was powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.